Hi, welcome for another video. I like to call this Woo Way Wednesday because I want to be different. I'm different. Yeah, I'm different. Uh, like Wisdom Wednesday, Wu Wei is a Taoist term for being in the flow of your life and learning how to work with life, with your nature, when your nature aligns with the nature and of the universe, and then you create this beautiful magical song together. You're in Wu Wei, right? You're doing your piece, the universe is doing its piece, and everybody is just like flowing together in this beautiful flow. So here's the deal. Today we're going to talk about codependency and what it is, how you become codependent, and then how to stop being codependent. Wow, wouldn't that be awesome? So I think that for some of us, we don't even know how we became codependent. So I have my handy dandy teaching space because you know that I like to teach. The first thing I want to talk about is the first stage of life is dependence. When you're born dependent, right? And if you have super loving parents and everybody's firing on all cylinders, then you know you're going to get your needs met. You know that you're going to get picked up when you cry. When you cry, like this cry it out method, just a little side note, you can send me angry comments, that's okay. The cry it out method creates anxiety in kids, okay? It's not good. It's like what you teach, well, they stop crying. They stop crying, okay? They stop crying because they fucking gave up. Whoops. Pardon my language. Okay, they gave up. So congratulations, you taught your kids how to like give up. That anybody's coming for them. Anyway, when you have parents that are firing on all cylinders and they're healthy, you learn dependence. You can get your needs met. You can count on people to be there for you, and then you start to kind of explore when you master your dependence, and you feel comfortable, you move naturally into independence. And this is like you go through this several times in your life. You go through it when you're a toddler, when you're like your parents or you're like, I'll do it myself. I'll put my, Ellie's like that now. She's like, I want to put on my own socks and I want to do it myself. And we're like, okay, but we allow her to try things out. And she walks away and tries things out and then comes back to us. And she's learning how to be independent, how to do things on her own. It's a crucial stage in life for everybody. Then we go through it again as teenagers, where we figure out like, no, my parents don't tell me what to do. I'm independent. Then we go through it again, like we're in a midlife crisis. We go through another like independence surge. Like, what am I meant to do and break free from everybody? And I'm leaving you all. And I want to be alone and get the Corvette and have affairs, whatever you do, it's your business. But we all go through these phases. And then healthfully, if we move through healthfully to all these, we end up and land where the holy grail of life is interdependence. And this is where we are. Look, I get here, I need you. I can't do anything without you. I get here, independence. I'm like, I'm fine on my own. I get to interdependence. I need you and you need me, and that's okay because we need each other. Interdependence is like we're all connected. I'm going to be responsible for me. You're going to be responsible for you, but we need each other and we know that, and that's okay. But if you leave, I ain't going to crumble or I'm not going to fall to pieces without you because I know how to take care of myself. What'd you miss? Well, you're going to learn. We're talking about codependence. So here's the rub. If you have a terrible time in dependence, your parents are addicted. Okay, you have drug addict parents or alcoholic parents or narcissistic parents or abusive parents or weird parents in general, they sucked, then you don't develop healthy independence. You get a pit stop. Congratulations, you win a pit stop in life to codependence. One way to come about this is from your childhood. You can become codependent because this is like a manual on how to love, okay? Who teaches you how to love? Your family teaches you how to love. Your parents teach you how to love. And you're walking around with their blueprint on your life saying, oh, this is how you do it. So if you had a crazy, like let's say you had a drug addicted or an alcoholic parent, and every day they would come home and you wouldn't know if they were going to be drunk or not. And so you learned, oh, okay, so I need to be responsible if I'm a good girl, if I clean the house, if I do what I need to do, dad won't drink or mom won't be crazy. So you're codependent, thinking you control that person or you're responsible for this person's behavior. So you're like, oh, okay, I can change your behavior if I change my behavior. Or you're feeling great that day, you're having a wonderful time, you come home, you've got a cuckoo bird parent who hurts you, hits you, verbally abuses you, makes you feel crazy, and then you go, you make me feel a certain way. So, now you're responsible for my feelings. Then you become codependent. So it works both ways, right? I'm responsible for your feelings. I need to walk on eggshells around you so you don't drink or act crazy or leave. And in codependence, we develop like 10, I've come up with a theory. We develop, because this is an attachment disorder, we develop like 10 different attachment personality types based upon the thing we had to go through here. And so some of you have a codependent personality type of Patty Perfect, right? You learned that you're codependent in your environment. So how you get love is to be perfect. You have to be the best of everything. You have to have the best grades. You have to like make sure that you look good all the time. And that's how you get your needs met, because you didn't get your needs met, but dad paid attention to you or mom paid attention to you when you were making good grades or you were being a good girl. So you're Patty Perfect. Your problem later in life is you don't know how to be who you are because you're being who you need to be to get the love, right? Maybe some of you developed a codependency attachment personality pattern that I call that an app of controlling Connie. You're codependent in a way where you have to, if you feel like you have to control everything all the time, the people in your life, what people think about you, what you say, what you do, what other people say, what other people do, because in your house was really chaotic and you needed to learn how to be in control of things so the shit didn't hit the fan at any minute, right? Because everything, as long as you're in control, everything's okay. That's a form of codependence. Maybe you learned, dad loved me today and came around, but now he left again. He abandoned us again. So, oh, that's how love works. Okay, you're codependent. You're testing Tessa. You meet men in your life and you're like, well, let's wait till see how this shit goes. And you test them. You wait for them to abandon you, to hurt you. So you push their buttons, you poke them, you prod them, you do whatever. You keep people at an arm's distance, withholding Wendy. You learned in your codependent upbringing that when you give love, love is pain. So you withhold the love. You're withholding Wendy. You that's how you're codependent. You don't want people to like have too much of you in case they misuse it. So you become the person that restricts, or restricting Renee. You restrict your love, you restrict your time, you restrict your attention. Or you learned that the way to get love was to help mom. Mom is sick. So mom's drunk, mom's high, mom's on the couch. So you're the sibling that takes care of everybody else. You go around the house and you clean everything and make sure everybody goes to school and do everything you need to do. And you're like Holly the hero. And so in your life, you only feel valuable when you're saving the day. You have caseloads instead of friendships. You rescue people, rescuing Renee. You like have dogs in your house, like pets everywhere. You're like, I'll take them all in, because you learned how you get love is to save the day or fix our friend. You try to fix people or do whatever. So if you got damaged here, okay, or if you were subject to damage here in your childhood, you developed a unique personality pattern that has now set you up for all your interactions. And please, don't think, hi Kayla, don't think, I love you, that I am just talking about intimate relationships. Please, how you do anything is how you do absolutely everything. So if you're Patty Perfect, you're Patty Perfect everywhere. In your work, you won't do anything unless you feel like you're going to be good at it. If you're rescuing Renee, you're taking on projects at work that you don't want to take on. You're overwhelmed. So how you do anything is how you do everything. Let's say independence. If you had a problem in independence, you made it through. You had a great childhood. Your parents were like good eggs. Good on you. Okay, you had good egg parents. Or you were raised by aliens and they were like perfect and they were great and you had a loving home. I hear that people actually still have these things. It blows my mind, but I've heard, rumor has it, like ancient rumor, that people actually had good parents somewhere. I don't know. Great, good for you. Perfect childhood. But when you got to independence, something went awry. you had a trauma, somebody, you got raped, you got hurt, you got abandoned, you got rejected, you married that person, they up and left you, they abandoned you. You had everything and then you lost everything. Something happened that made you go, oh shit, that didn't work out. Then you take another pit stop to codependence. And you say, I can't be independent on my own because bad things happen when I can't be, with somebody again. So now I need to go back and be codependent. And codependent is really about like, it's a threesome. It's a three-way for you kinky pervs. Okay. It's a three-way. Here it is. It's a love triangle. Codependence is a love triangle. I should probably write a book called that. So we've got me, you, and as long as you meet my needs, you make me feel special, you make me feel wanted, you make me feel important, you're doing what you need to do for me, and I'm feeling good about me because of you. But the minute you take your love away from me, I go somewhere else. Drugs, alcohol, another person, sex, shopping, isolating, running, numbing, dumbing, doing anything else that can now you're not just codependent with a person. You could be codependent with a place, a thing, anything. And the challenge is with why we're really codependent is that we did not successfully complete this phase. We do not know how to be radically independent. And please, not in the way of like, I don't need you. Okay, I got it. I'm independent. I don't need a man. I don't need a man. You know who that is? That's withholding Wendy. Okay, that's not real. That's your show that you put on. You're like, I don't need him. I don't need him, honey. You want him more than anybody else. All right? Stop lying to yourself. Stop telling yourself that you don't want or need a man. You want and need a man desperately. Dost protestest too much. Okay? Trust me. We're born, and there's nothing wrong with that, honey. We're all desired to want to need each other. We need each other. But how do you overcome codependence so that you can finally be set free forever? And you know how to stand in your truth. You know how to be with yourself. And then everything else around you that's coming, it's like you're the willow tree. That's my favorite analogy. You know why I love a willow tree? Number one, they're beautiful. And they're a little sad. And they're beautiful. And they have the rainbow of emotion within the willow tree. I love it the most because it's rooted in what it believes in. It's strong, and it dances in the freaking storm. It bends. Oh my God, did you ever see how malleable? Look at this. This is nice. How malleable a tree is. It just bends in the wind and the weather. It doesn't get affected. It's beautiful. Its branches are malleable. It's flexible. It's flexible. It's not rigid. In the Tao, and the Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu talks about things that are rigid and brittle break, right? But the softest thing in the world overcomes the hardest thing in the world. Water shapes mountains. And part of our journey is to learn how to be the water, how to flow in the places, right? How do you do that? How do you flow in life? How do you be with life, wu wei, instead of letting life happen to you? And you're like, shit, that broke me. Shit, that broke me. Shit, that broke me. You're constantly getting broken and beaten down by life. And by the way, if you identify as a survivor, that's okay, but you're always going to have something to survive. That old saying, it's not how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get up. Well, I think it's about avoiding to get knocked down. That's what I think. I think, why the hell are you getting knocked down so damn much? Okay? Let's talk about how to just be in life in an easier way with ease. So I want to get to this place. I want to get to interdependence where we need each other, right? Where I'm here with you and you're here with me, and it's a continual kind of flow and wave of well-being. If you leave me, I let you go. Something else is coming back in, right? I'm not addicted. I'm not attached to you. Codependence is about being attached. It's an attachment disorder. You can be anxiously attached, like we talked about, where you just wait for people to disappoint you. You wait for people to leave you, so you push them away, or you cling. You're a stage 5 clinger. You can be avoidantly attached, and that's another thing where you just pretend you don't need anybody at all. Okay, you do. We do. How do you get out of it? You learn the one master key to break free from codependence for good and forever is actually learning how to love yourself first. I know when I say that, people go, oh, that's clever, Sherlock. Thanks for the tips. But in reality, that is the number one thing you can learn is how to love yourself first. If you're codependent, who do you love? Everybody else, their brother, their uncle, their sister, their mom, their Aunt Nanny, everybody you love, but you don't know how to love yourself. And the lie you tell yourself is you're good at loving other people. You're not as good as you think you are, because you can only love other people to the level that you love yourself. So think about how much more loving you'll actually be if you take a time out and learn how to love yourself first. Let's pretend we're going to do a little class now on how to love yourself, and I'm your new teacher. I'm going to come in. Okay, you ready? Welcome, everybody. I'm so glad you're here. I have the secret success on how to love yourself. I've created a little flip chart here for your convenience, and I'm an expert at it. I help people become not codependent so that they can love themselves. So let's see. What you want to really do is get a manicure. You want to make sure that you do your toes, okay? You want to have a spa day. Positive affirmations. Look in the mirror and say things like, you're gorgeous. I love you. You're special. People like you. And then I want you to make sure that you make a vision board. Cut out a car, cut out a ring or two, okay? Things you really want to have, because if you have them, people will love you more and you'll love yourself more. Hashtag tips. And make sure that you write good qualities that you have. Yeah, you want to make sure that you're doing that. And you want to exercise and eat right, because if you don't love yourself, here's the main trick, okay? Lose a couple freaking pounds. If you want to love yourself more, get skinny. You dumb bitch. Is that working? Give me some love. Is that working? Can you put like an angry face? I don't know, because I don't think that's working. Because I have to tell you something. When I actually was at my skinniest and actually working out was when I hated myself the most, because I had a raging eating disorder and I was a binge drinking alcoholic. But I looked good. I had a manicure. I had my nails done. I did a French manicure back in those days. And I took lots of spa days and did lots of positive affirmations. The problem was I didn't believe them. That doesn't work, okay? But that's the Band-Aid on a flesh wound that everybody teaches you. That's what they teach you. They're like, oh my God, if you don't love yourself, get your hair done. We're in a society that says, he broke your heart, honey. Well, I have a solution for you. You put on that red damn lipstick and some heels and you go out, honey, and you party. You have a glass of wine. Well, you know what? She's an alcoholic. That's how she's been fixing her problems when her boyfriend leaves for years. It's not working, okay? You don't have to go always until I put makeup on and pretend you're fine. That's what we've been doing forever. It's called Stepford life. How are you doing? Fine. How are you? Great. Everything okay? Yeah. So I don't need to look better. I don't need to do these things. Stop believing the hype of like, you need to like have a better self-care routine. That's not where the ticket is, guys. Where's the ticket? Where's the ticket? How do you learn to love yourself? So I remember when I was a matchmaker, actually, yes, I was. Don't hit me up. I'm not doing it anymore, but I have people that I know who still do. I was a matchmaker in Beverly Hills. I mean, if you can believe that one. I had a cushy office, and it's on 10100 building and celebrity clientele and a cushy little corner office. And people would come in because I was like the resident love coach expert. And they'd be like, what do you need? I'd say to them, well, they'd be like, find me love, And I'd say, Ruby said, your task is not to find love. And they hated this, but it was true. Your task is not to find love. It's to seek and remove the barriers in yourself you've built against it. So how do you learn to love yourself and overcome codependence? Well, you learn how to remove the things that are preventing you from loving yourself, right? That's how you do it. What's preventing you from loving yourself? What are the things that are stopping you? That's what you really need to figure out. If you figure out that, now you can give me surface answers. You could say, well, my weight's stopping me from loving myself. Well, honey, then you love yourself conditionally. Conditional, Connie, okay? Well, I'm not talking about being the good girl. You love yourself when you're kind and sweet and caring and considerate, and you hate yourself when you're mean and selfish and rude and a bitch and all these other things. But you're the bitch, you're the Madonna and the whore. You're everything, okay? So everybody says, I want to be loved unconditionally. Well, honey, you do it. Start with you, okay? How do you do that? How do you learn to love yourself? Hi. Well, you remove the barriers that prevent you from loving yourself. And for me, I asked myself this question when I was at my ultimate codependent state. Like outside looking in 10 years ago, You would have thought I was like hot shit, okay? I had well over 6-figure job. I had all the trappings of success. I had a house. I had all these things that I did that looked perfect. I was behind closed doors. I'd march into the corporate office and like make my money coaching other people, helping Helen, fix her Fran, but not applying it to my own life and walking around like, oh, yeah, I'm so successful. And I would go home and I would binge drink and forget my own name and or eat it was like food or alcohol all day, one of the two. I was totally pretending, living a double life, okay? And so there came a time where I was like, okay, I need to know how to learn to love myself. Yes, I see that's what the problem is here. And then it all came to a head like 10 years ago. I lost everything. I lost that big money job. Back in 2008, people weren't paying fancy business consultants anymore, okay? Life coach luxuries, right? It was like, now it's like I had nothing. I got stripped of my title. Here I was in my 30s, childless, loveless, full of anxiety, full of depression, full of sadness, marching my way up to my house, who was an alcoholic, on top of the hill in Westover, West Virginia. And I'm walking up the hill with my Louis Vuitton bags, please, walking up. And I put my shit down on the floor and I look around and I go, how the frick did I get here? What is this? What is this life? It's nothing. I have nothing. I'm a loser. It's like I was always like in between. A lot of people that I help are very black and white. It's like I was successful on top of the world. I'm a champion or I'm a loser. And there's nothing in between. I didn't know how to just be me. I knew how to like suck or excel, right? Can you relate to that? Can you relate to that? Just being like, I'm awesome or I suck, and there's no in between. Well, I wanted to live my life in the in between. I'm awesome and I suck, and it's okay. It's all flow and ebb. But how do I get there? I stop attaching to whether or not I'm awesome or I'm sucking, and I just be myself instead. How do you be yourself instead? You love yourself. You learn how to love yourself. That day, I sat down. I asked myself 2 questions. I said, what do I really want? And what am I no longer willing to settle for anymore? And I knew the answer was I need to learn to love myself. And I said, all right. This is what it looks like when you stay in the trap of black or white. I'm awesome or I suck. Okay, this is your life. Ready? Because I know myself. All right? Up here in life, you're succeeding, you're doing well, you're achieving, you're being great, you're accomplishing all your goals. Everything you want is yours. You're amazing. You're awesome. Then you go, shit, who the hell do I think I am? You screw up. You come down here. You're like, I'm a loser. Everything sucks. You're drinking, you're eating, you're running, you're shopping, you're isolating, you're abandoning yourself. I deserve better. I need to be a good girl. Yeah, let me be a good girl. Let me accomplish my goals. Let me be good. Let me do everything I need to do. Who the hell do you think you are? I suck again. And you run your life on this like good girl, bad girl thing, and it sucks because all you do is you have 2 emotions in life. You feel good or you feel like shit. And that's like, is that life? That's how I live my life. It's not life. But the cool thing is when you learn how to love yourself, you learn how to move in the ebb and flow of life. Actually, I have an online community called Flow, which is about learning how to be in the flow of life and love yourself and not getting attached to when you're great. We're the warrior and the champion and the asshole. Did you know that? We're both. When you learn to love yourself, you understand that and you stop competing with yourself. You just kind of like embrace yourself and really love yourself wholly and fully. That's what that means. So you can get in the flow of life. And when you're in the flow of life, you don't get attached to stuff. You know success is fleeting, failure's coming, and you can weather any storm. You can be like that gorgeous willow tree standing rooted, and be flexible in your failures and in your successes. And you can take it all in stride. And it doesn't mean anything about you anymore. You stop attaching to things. You stop attaching to your success as a barometer for your worthiness. You stop attaching to your ability to pull trigger on things and get things done as a barometer on your value. You start to really love and embrace and accept yourself for exactly who you are. And then life becomes a dance, not a battle. The struggle ain't real. The dance is, but the struggle's an option. All right? So how do you stop the struggle? Well, I believe that I figured it out. I know. I believe I figured everything out. But you know why I believe I figured so much stuff out, to tell you really? It's because I spent my whole life asking questions. Okay? My primary question from the time I was a little kid until the time I was about 10 years ago was, what's wrong with me? That's what I used to ask myself all the time. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Because I always felt like something was. Can you relate to that? Do you ever just feel like, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? I'm not like other people. Other people have an easier time at life. Other people are more successful. Other people can like do things I can't. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me in my relationships? I'm not attracting the right people. What's wrong with me that I keep failing? What's wrong with me that I just feel like there's a little gray cloud that follows me around everywhere and I can't be happy like other people? You feel different every day. I know because I did too. Every day I would literally be like, what is wrong with me? Right? So that's why I figured it out, because I asked the question and I was like, holy shit, I actually got the answer. Amen, but a real one. So that's how, and that's when I decided that I created actually my method that I use with people. Now, I'm actually going to show you my method behind the scenes. I'm going to show it to you. And normally I would, because I believe if you learn how to do these things, this is how you can learn yourself. Grab a journal. Okay, but grab a journal right now and write these things down. So, because whether or not you do this with me or another human being, or you learn it, not another human being, because I really got the ticket here, but on your own, okay, I want you to understand this is the thing that will change your life forever. What I'm going to teach you today is my methodology. It's my special method that I created to love yourself. And so journal these down. And if you don't do it with me, learn it on your own so you can be a free human being. Here they go. Ready? The method I created is called the promise method. And I'm going to tell you what you can do to master to learn how to love yourself. I'm going to walk you through each of these, okay? The first thing you need to do is learn how to live in the present moment. I know for me, I was extremely uncomfortable in my own skin. I did not know how, I knew how to perform sexually. I knew how to like put on a show. I didn't know how to be intimate. I didn't know how to just sit with another human being naked and vulnerable. I thought vulnerability was a 4-letter word for the weak. I didn't know how to be in the now. The now made me anxious as hell, right? I was like, oh, sit here, what the fuck? You know, like I was always full of anxiety, living in the past or the future. I didn't know how to just be still. And I also, because of the trauma, was very uncomfortable in my own body. So I would like check out a lot. I would just like disassociate. I didn't know how to be rooted and grounded and feel my body. And because I didn't know how to be here in the present moment in my body and here, I actually didn't know how to be with other people either. I think addiction is a disease of loneliness. It's an inability to be with other people the way we need to be. Or if you really want to go through this, there's 2 ways, I'm going to tell you 2 ways to experience this program with me. It's important that you know this. Number 1, well, 3 ways. Number 1, you can do this program as a self-study course on my website, HeidiRain.com. You can look for the Love Yourself First program. It's a self-study course. You can just get this now, get every single lesson as a download, and get all the workbooks as well and have them for life. I don't have like a 7-week program. I don't have that. It sometimes takes people a lot longer, right? So they're yours to go at your own pace. Or you can do a group experience where you do this program and you get access to my Flow community, which is 1 year of one-on-one. Like most people overestimate what they can do in 30 days. Like, oh, you haven't changed my life in 8 weeks. Honey, and you underestimate what you can do in a whole year. So come into the community, the Flow community, where we teach these lessons and sit in the hot seat and like you would come up, you know, and be on the screen with me and we'd work on your issues, right? And it'd be unbelievable. Or you can have a private mentorship, which is an application process. But so the 2 ways now to join are just to go make it happen. But let me teach you what it is first, okay? The second thing you can learn to master to learn how to love yourself is to learn how to release. I was holding on to so much pain, anger, resentment, hurt, trauma. I didn't know how to forgive. And people would be like, oh, you need to forgive people. And I'd be like, that's for other people, not for me, because I can't let that go. I care way too much about what other people are. I feel like if I forgive them, they win kind of thing. You know, and that's really just not the case. So how do you learn how to release things and let them go? If you work on that, you can love yourself. That was what was preventing me. Another thing that was preventing me from loving myself is that I didn't know how to be open. I didn't know how to receive. I knew how to give. And that's a lot of people I help are like givers, like you're a giver. You know how to keep giving, 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 giving. But when it comes to like allowing, it scares the crap out of you. That's what's codependent. Codependence is I'll give to you, but I don't want to need you, or, or I do need you too much, So how do you be open? How do you learn how to be receptive? How do you learn how to be, the dirty V word, vulnerable? Wow. I was like Alcatraz, man. You could not crack me. My motto was like, never let them see you sweat. Suck it up, buttercup. I didn't want people. It's a joke. My client bought me a shirt the other day, said, suck it up, buttercup, because of my life, right? So if that's you, then you know that learning how to open up will change everything for you. The M, and again, if you do this with me or do it on your own, it's going to be something that's going to change your life. If you learn how to meet your own needs. What meets your needs now? Mine was alcohol. Actually, I pretended not to have any needs. When you asked me what was wrong with me, I'd be like, what do I need? I'd be like, nothing. I don't need anything, So now I know that I actually do have needs, but I need to know how to meet them. Most of the people I have work with don't even know what they want. Can you relate to that? Like, you're like, yeah, that'd be great if I can meet my needs. What do I need? What do I even want? So for you, taking time out of your life to learn, number one, what it is that you want or need, and then how to meet those needs will change everything. Identity. This is the biggest one, okay? People don't know who they are. They know who they've needed to be. I need to be a mother. I need to be an employee. I need to be a girlfriend. I need to be whatever. But who am I really, though, right? I know even when I was getting sober at first, I actually didn't want to take on the identity of an alcoholic. I mean, just the same way that if I had cancer, I would say, hey, I don't want to be an alcoholic. I want to be a non-drinker. I want to put that in the past, right? I had to fight other people's identity of where they wanted to box me in. And other people want to box you in too. You're not living who you are. You're living who they want you to be. So part of this process of learning to love yourself is figuring out who the hell you really are. And you figure out who you are by disregarding who you are not. And that's really part of the secret, right? Speak your truth. Oh my God, this is huge. I know so many people who think they actually speak their truth. They're like, oh yeah, I speak my mind all the time. I tell people how I feel. I'm gonna tell you. You wanna know? I'll tell you. Well, I know for me, the only time I really spoke my truth is 2 times. When I got really pissed off like a ticking time bomb and I exploded, or when I was drunk as hell. And that's not really the truth. Right? A lot of the people that I work with do not know how to say no. They take on more than they want to. They over deliver. Is that you? Do you not speak your truth? When people ask you, how do you feel about stuff? Or you like just go with the flow and pretend that you're okay? That's a challenge with codependence. Pretending that you're just okay with everything when you're not. And you need to learn how to find your unique voice. Stand rooted in your truth and speak it out to the world. It'll change everything. And then the last thing, I'm going to keep it quick today because I know we're all working and doing stuff. The last thing is how to be enough. If you master all these things to love yourself, if you apply this promise to your life, it's really a spiritual practice. You will learn how to be enough. How do you know being enough is a problem? You're always worried about lack. You're always worried that there isn't enough to go around. It's not enough. You're not enough. I'm not enough. So you compete all the time. You're competing, Connie. You're like restricting, withholding. You're doing everything to keep it because you don't feel like you're enough. You're proving yourself all the time. You're trying to prove your value and prove your worth all the time. So just look at that for a minute. If you're not taking notes, take a screenshot of it. Okay? It's literally the thing that it's the spiritual practice. It's a discipline. These are 7 self-love vows that I took like a woman who wanted to marry herself. Okay. And then I started teaching these vows to women all around the world. Okay. The treatment center for the last 7 years where the people are like at their lowest low, right? And those are the people that really need to learn how to love themselves. In fact, that's how I really came up with the name of what I offer, is that I would ask these people every day, I say, what's the one thing you can learn to master that would change your life forever? And they would say to me, I need to learn how to love myself. But the spa day, like we were laughing about, isn't cutting it. The spa day is not cutting it. It's not like I get up from my massage and I'm magically like, ooh, thank you. I feel whole. That's not how it works. So let's learn these things, right? I know if you come back from my videos, I'm teaching these things all the time for free, okay? Every time I do a video, I'm talking about one of these things in one of these ways. And that's great. You can come back to the videos and do water fountain and drink a little bit and get nourished, quench your thirst. But what I really love you to do is actually dig a well and go deep with me. And how do you do that? You come into my program, the Love Yourself First program, where we actually deep dive into all 7 of these vows. The self-study program is actually a program where it's 7 lessons and workbooks that you keep for life. It's an instant download. And then the other way to do it is to become part of our community, where I love to teach and work with you one-on-one. So I hope that you join me, but if not, keep coming back, right? If you want to work together, that'd be perfect. If you want to work together later, if you want to work together through videos, if you want to work together one-on-one, but let's dig a well, let's start to go deep, all right? Let's get to the bottom of it so that you can learn how to love yourself. When you master these things, like we started off talking about codependence, right? Here's the crazy thing. When you master this method that I have, it's a spiritual practice. It just doesn't affect your relationships. It impacts every single area of your life, your business, right? When you learn how to speak your truth in business, when you learn who you are in business, everything really unfolds for you. I know for me, as a result of walking through this process myself, I manifested my husband, our daughter, my vision for our life, all these things that I was able to create. Clearly, quit drinking 10 years ago, that was the easy part. Now we're creating a life that we want to be awake for, right? Now we're creating a life worth being sober for. So I hope that's helpful for you today, guys. Let me know what's the most important thing you think you can master out of these things. Let me know in the comments. If you're watching the replay, tell me and we can dig a little bit deeper. Is it the present moment? Is it your resentments or your release? You need to let go of stuff. Is it the openness? Is it the vulnerability? Is it meeting your own needs and learning what you need? Is it speaking your truth? Is it your identity? Is it who you are? You don't know who you are? Is it you don't feel enough? Where is it? Like Rumi said, your job isn't to seek for love. It's to remove the barriers you built against it. These are the barriers. We'll see you very soon. Take excellent care of yourself and have a great day. I love you. Bye.